was not that exciting, but this is exciting. Trade deadline day has become one of the biggest events on the NHL calendar. Fans hoping to see their teams make improvements for that playoff drive here in Calgary. Okay, not so much about the playoff drive. We're just waiting to see if more moves will be made to help the teams rebuild. With us from Toronto to break down deadline day and to tell us about Sportsnet's 10 hours of solid coverage, Hockey Central analyst Nick Kypreos. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Tara. How are you? 10 hours?
10
In my contract, it only says 6.
Yeah, didn't anybody tell you? You got to conserve your energy, my friend, and quite a cast of characters joining you guys tomorrow.
As many, I think, as 30. So ex-players, you know, we got reporters all over the country. It's going to be great. I watched the Jerry Lewis telethon when I was a kid over the years, so I feel like I'm very well prepped.
Okay. So that's it. You have to get a refresher every year to prep for this massive marathon for you guys. But in all seriousness, I know you all have your ears to the ground, you know, utilizing your contacts in any way you can. What are you predicting? We all know Ryan Miller, that was the huge trade that happened already. Are there other big names that we might expect actually at the deadline this year?
Of course. And, you know, this might be a better trade deadline day because in the past we saw big names probably traded 2 or 3 days before the trade deadline, and yet we know top goal scorers in the league, and we know goal scoring's at a premium this year are still out there. And of course you've got Mike Camilleri in Calgary, Vanek with the Islanders, and Molson as well in Buffalo. Now the pecking order suggests that teams are asking for Vanek first, Molson second, and Camilleri third. But don't believe it for 1 second. We just need one of those guys to be traded to establish what kind of prices are out there, and that's why Brian Burke's still sitting on Camilleri. He needs to find out exactly where that true market is. Is it a first-round pick? Is it a first-round pick and a prospect? That's what Brian Burke's waiting for, to find that out.
Well, and we know, obviously, the Flames are all about the rebuild at this point. Is there anybody else at play? Certainly in the West, it seems like there's a lot going on.
There really is. And, you know, it's tough this time of year with teams up against the salary cap to move on big-name items like a Ryan Kesler at $5 million. But there's so much pressure on Gillis and the whole team to make a significant move. And we do know that the best way to improve rather quickly is to move a top asset, and that seems to be Ryan Kesler. He's given them a short list. We do know that it seems like they don't want to trade him in the Western Conference, so that points the fingers at East Conference teams like the Flyers, like the Penguins. The New York Rangers, despite what you hear about a bad relationship with Alain Vigneault, seem to be in the mix as well. I really believe that this is one of those big trades that we will see in the next 24 hours.
Now, what about some big names that may be hard to see in other uniforms? Marty St. Louis possibly asking for a trade. Martin Brodeur, I think very disconcerting to see him in anything other than a Devils uniform, but that could happen.
I'm with you. I don't want to see him in another uniform. This guy is regarded as our best goalie in NHL history, and to see him in another uniform, maybe sitting on the bench, to me isn't right. But the thing with this situation is he's adamant that he wants to play next season, and he doesn't want to tail off the rest of this year playing behind Corey Schneider. So there's a ton of pressure on Lou Lamoriello to make this deal, despite not wanting to. So that one will feel strange to see Brodeur possibly in another uniform. Marty St. Louis is a little trickier because the only place he told Stevie Yzerman he wants to be traded to is the New York Rangers. Of course, Glenn Sather will use this and as an advantage to get the best deal he can, knowing that there's no competition for his services. So this one will be trickier to make than obviously the Marty Brodeur moving forward.
Sportsnet Hockey Central analyst Nick Kypreos, I suspect you're going to have an exciting 24 hours or so. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Tara, always a pleasure.
Take care.